for watching this on YouTube. Hit that like and sub button. It means a lot. If you want to follow my Twitch, it is in the description of the video. Now, for this video, we need to talk about cheating. I named 3 people that I've been in a relationship with that cheated on me or emotionally cheated on me, which, if you don't know what that means, it means that you're emotionally invested in somebody else. Not necessarily physically just yet, but emotionally. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Um, anyways, we'll talk about one person first, because that was my freshman year, and then I'll talk about my sophomore year, and then I'll talk about it was the end of my sophomore year, I think. Well, no. It was going into my junior year, like probably. Well, it was September. In my junior year. Um, I dated this person for like 4 months. Anyways, the main person that we'll talk about is named Hannah. Obviously, not real name. There's gonna be somebody with the almost the same name, but not the same. Anyways, Hannah is yeah, this is a story of the lifetime. No, but this person caused me a lot of pain and agony and anxiety. If I was making a video separate from everything else and just about her, this would be called anxiety. Because this was a very push and pull relationship. I was very invested in her for a long time, and I was very romantically, invested. And she was in a romantic. She was kind of what you call a bad girl, I guess. That sounds so cringe, but she was very, sexual, and it was just not my cup of tea necessarily, to be honest. But it didn't matter because even when I eventually got used to it, because I just never been sexual before, with anything, so I just didn't know any better um, with different scenarios. But it didn't matter because we would get closer like every which way possible. Um, And, well, there was a point where I actually said something that I don't think I had feelings for, and I said that I loved her. That wasn't true. I didn't know that, obviously, but it wasn't true. And I should have realized that because a lot of the scenarios where I was telling her shit like that, it was while she was cheating on me with some other person. For example, she sent nudes to 8 different kids at the school. Some people you know, older than age, and then some people younger. And she basically the whole problem with nudes when you're in high school is not only everyone sees them. I don't want to. I didn't want to. My friend was trying to show me, and we'll get to that person in a minute. But basically, she would cheat on me 24/7, and I would just forgive her every time I came back to her. I was very stupid. I kept thinking, "Oh, I hope that it'll always work out," being really stupid with romance. I was more invested than any other relationship. And it was my fault that I was more invested, over time. Um, but like in the beginning, it wasn't my fault. Um, me and her were very romantic, and we would get close and close and close, and nothing was bad at the beginning, at least. Um, until she started text. It was at first it was very simple. She was just flirting with other people like over text. Um, and yeah, that hurt by itself, but I was willing to forgive her, like a dumbass. Her friend is the one that told me. We'll get to that too, because her friend ended up being not really a good person either. But um, yeah, her friend would also flirt with me after the relationship. But we'll get to that anyway. And she would cheat on me, constantly. I would keep going back to her. I was just being really stupid. Anytime, like we would break up for like a little bit longer period of time, I would be like, I miss her, blah blah blah, and I'm just like, I was so stupid. I literally hated myself for just telling myself that, and it didn't help because it's like a cycle that repeats, and then my heart really got this, anxiety going on, and I was only better when she was in my like, in my arms or like hugging me or whatever, and it was the only time I was good. And over the years, she has got me really shitty anxiety, and yeah, that was gonna happen eventually, I'm sure. But I'd rather have not had it then. I'd rather have it in the future. But you know, um, but it oh well. It sucks and it hurts a lot. Don't get me wrong. I remember every single breaking moment. I've ran into her multiple times after me and her broke up, or yeah, and it was not the greatest. I ran into her like a year, maybe 2 years later. I was in soccer, and she was on the enemy team, just like in life. Okay, bad joke. I'm sorry. That was not the time to say that, but it's true. But yeah, she would cheat on me constantly. People that cheat just are something else. Unfortunately, though, a lot of the relationships nowadays, you're probably gonna get cheated on. There's not really a way to not get cheated on, unfortunately, in modern times. Part of me, I'll get to it. Never mind. I'll talk about it sometime. I don't know. But anyways, that was really all I want to talk about on this person. They're the ones that cause me anxiety and a lot of heartbreak. And I like I said before, I don't have a lot of confidence in breaking up with people. Even though I did eventually break up with her, but it took me however long. Other than when I found out she was cheating on me, but I didn't really break up with her then either. I would just be like, "No, I'm not talking to you. I'm done." And I guess that's breaking up. So never mind. Anyways, now this second person where we called Morgan. I didn't really know what to name them, but this was my sophomore year of high school. I dated her for like 2 months, 3 months, maybe 4 months actually. Actually, yeah, around there. Um, but in September, I met her in the summer, like late summer. Um, and we would go to dance together, and we were really romantically involved together. Like we were both kind of romantic. Um, but I think I was more invested in it than her, or at least after a while. But I didn't, realize it too much because it wasn't like so much at one time where she just decided to, you know, fuck off or whatever. But she, I remember like when we our like first kind of date, we were like dancing on like a football field, like an open area, and it was cute, like looking back, I'm like, yo, like that was kind of cute. Like I did that. I had the idea of that, and like the moonlight was shining on us. I remember this, and it was like weird. It was like a moment of perfection in my life, to a point, because obviously anxiety, and all this other shit. But anyways, going more into it though, I realized eventually over time that we were really close, and we were happy, and I thought I made her happy. And here comes the turn down. Now after the months, basically she left for, I think, Germany, traveled to Germany with her family. If only I could go. Joking, but yeah, she came back instantly, was like distance from herself. So something happened, right? So I instantly perceived something happened, something is wrong. So the next day when I saw her, because it was at the end of the day when I got to see her, uh, I said, "Hey, are you okay?" And she said, "Yeah." And I was like, "Is it me?" And I asked, "Do you still love me?" Because we told each other that we love each other, which I didn't mention that, and I apologize. But she said, "Yeah." Now, I knew even then that it wasn't the truth, because the next day, um, and the thing is, I'll get into it in a sec. But the next day, she broke it off with me, um, by saying, well, she started the sentence like, quote unquote, or and I quote, "I'm sorry," quote end, because I ran away. No, I literally walked away, and and I knew what it was, and I knew it, and what ended up happening afterwards is months or weeks maybe. It feels longer though, like back then. But I would um I would just be really sad and just I would walk away from the school, go eat somewhere else, even though I barely had money and I should have never done that. Because now I don't have, I barely have anything now. And I think like that's something I do when I'm alone a lot, is spend money, and I need to stop doing that. It's really stupid of me, and I don't want to do that anymore. So I'm not gonna try to. Um, but as I was saying, she she eventually came up to me and asked, "Are you okay?" And I just said no, you know. And then she was like, "I'm sorry," blah blah blah. And I remember there was a dance coming up, and I we went to it together, or not like romantically together. Like she went with somebody else, and I was just by myself. But we were close, and I went with my friends. But I was basically by myself there. Um, when because I was just sitting in the hallway when I saw her, and I hurt instantly. Um, I remember that, and it broke my heart still. Um, and that's when she came up to me and asked if I was okay, and then we talked for a long period of time, and we were good at the end. We hugged and everything, and during the conversation she told me that she led me on, which I'm gonna be honest, I didn't believe it. I think like even now I don't believe it. I think she did like me, because obviously like you have to like somebody in order to have a relationship with them in the first place, unless you really just wanted to lead me on the entire time. But I mean, then again, you never know. I mean, it's 2021 now, but it's what I mean is like is the 21st, whatever. It's modern times, right? It's understandable, I guess. Not really. It's not okay, but whatever. But she eventually just kind of told me that, and I just accepted it, and I was like, okay. And that's what I needed, though. And I think, you know, um, it was something that was good for me to hear those things. And we were gonna be friends again. We never ended up being friends again until more modern times. But we're not even friends now necessarily. Like we're good terms, I guess. But that's it. But about a year later, she switched schools. Started dating my best friend. He didn't know that we dated. She lied to him and said that me and her never dated. Even though there was pictures that my friend had, or that I found that I had from years ago. So I sent them to him so that he had it. Um, and I remember like though when they were just talking, she would tell me how much she loved him and how she likes him so much. Blah blah blah. Eventually broke up with him and told me that he forced her into the relationship, and I was like, I doubt that. I didn't tell her that, but I definitely doubt that because she literally was like so into him. Like you can't be texting me telling me you're so into my best friend. And that's the thing, she knew it too. Like she knew me and him were together, or me and him were best friends. Me and him were together, but and she knew that she would have to quote unquote lie in order to be with him. Which I'm gonna be honest, I wouldn't have cared because in the future I've done something. I'll talk about it in a sec. But yeah. Then they broke up and all that shit happened, and then she started dating somebody else for about a year. And with that relationship, she got cheated on. I'm gonna be honest, deserved. No one deserves to get cheated on, but if they use you, kind of do. Also, something I forgot to mention is when me and her were dating. This is the emotionally cheating thing that comes into play. She was getting really close to her best friend, who she dated. That's who she went to the dance with too. But she got really emotionally invested in him, and it was definitely a problem. for me because I couldn't have done anything to, like I couldn't have done anything when I was in the relationship. I had to just let it happen. Um, which sucks. Don't get me wrong, it hurts, but it's all good. And then afterwards, we um, we just were not really friends and anything. But towards like a year ago, um, she texted me, asked how I was, and we were like, yeah, I'm good, blah blah. And I honestly started to like her again. It was stupid. It was really dumb, and she um she told me how she's texting somebody new, of course, right? And then never actually texted him because I was telling her, hey, you need to tell him you like him, because she was telling me she doesn't want to and all this other stuff, and I was like, just tell him. And she never did. And then she started talking to my best friend again. Yes, the same person. And then told me that she likes him again, and he told me that he likes her again, and then I told her that he talks about her all the time, which isn't true, by the way. It wasn't true. The only thing I knew is that they were talking again, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna text her and say that he talks about her all the time when me and him hang out, which isn't true. We never even talked about her. We really didn't. That's funny. But yeah, it definitely was really fucked up. And then me and her never talked again. And neither did he talk to her. And that was the end of that person basically in our lives. Um, and that was the last person there, other than now we talk about Anna. Now Anna, me and her dated for about six. I want to say 6 to 7 months. This is the beginning of my junior year. Um, and we were also, like I said, romantically invested. She told me that she loved me first before I did, surprisingly. We didn't love each other though, I will tell you this much. Um, she was really toxic, and then over time, like about a week later, honestly, like I was just fed up with it, and I became toxic myself towards her. I regret it, obviously. Um, but I also realize it's not fully my fault either. A lot of time I was defending myself in different things. Like she would just argue about every single thing that ever happened, and it was weird. It's just always depressed all the time, and it made me depressed all the time because when you're in a relationship, you want the other person to be happy, and the fact that they're not, and you can't like make them better, makes you like worse, and then you're not getting comfort because they're sad, and it's like a cycle, and it just sucks. But she, I knew she was talking to somebody like flirty, with somebody else, and I started flirting with somebody else who I actually ended up liking. To be honest, like during the relationship, I felt bad about it, but she did the same thing, so it didn't really feel bad, and I regret it. It's like one of my regrets, but it happened, and there's nothing I can do about that. But she afterwards, even though I was just texting, I'll keep that in mind. Now, that's not cheating is cheating, right? But it got worse when she slept with somebody else. And that's when the relationship ended. But about 2 years from now, actually, literally 2 years from now, around this time we went on like or we went shopping or whatever. We went somewhere and everything in the winter. It was just before Christmas. I remember that. And we were in a romantic entanglement. No, I'm joking. We were just friends, but um, she asked me if she ever thought me and her could get back together, and I was not expecting that question to come out of nowhere. I was going through some stuff. That summer I went on a date with somebody, and that didn't go well, but um and I don't know, it was causing me problems. And there was another relationship I was in that mind fucked me basically, and I was used worse than any other time. I was I can't talk about it completely because this is YouTube, but something happened to me from I what I can say is I was drugged, and more things happened that you use your imagination, because it's probably just as bad as you can imagine to a point. But anyways, the me and Anna were you know hanging out, and then she asked me that, and I said no. I just said no. I don't think so. I just I just thought it wouldn't be good. There's been times where I would like I think I was just reminiscing about a relationship where I actually like because I practically lived with her at points like on weekends and stuff. But there's been times where I kind of miss that, where I miss the affection of having somebody around like that. I do sometimes. I don't think I miss the person at all though, because I don't really, I don't really think about them. They're not on my mind, But sometimes they will, I'll find or I'll see them in public, and I'd be like, "Oh, how you doing?" Um, and then I'll remember like being wishing I was like in a relationship, where I was in person. I think that's why I've been breaking up with like a lot of people nowadays. Is like the thing is with distant relationships is I'm fine with a distant relationship if we actually are meeting at some point. Like I don't know, but at the same time, like I don't want to live here, and that's my issue. Like I don't want to live in this area at all, like this state. And like if I started talking to somebody, I would honestly want the chance to come live with them. But then again, I don't want to do that right away anyway because and that's another issue is if they don't live in the country, then that's a whole other story, right? But next time I do something like distant, if I ever do another distant relationship, I would like them to at least be in my region. So like Canada or the U.S. would be easier, so that I could just go and live honestly there if possible. Like hell, if we break up, I'll sleep on the goddamn floor. I don't care. But I just want to have like a relationship where I'm with somebody and actually with them and not this far away. And I think that's been an issue. And don't get me wrong, I would like to talk to somebody first before living with them. But that is one of the things that I do actually think about, honestly. But uh, would anyone want that? Is a whole nother story. It's like probably, I'm sure someone somewhere, right? Like probably, I don't know. Know any? No, I'm joking. But it sucks. Even recently, I was actually like really talking to somebody, and I really liked them, and we were gonna hang out and all this other stuff, but then it ended up being canceled because like a snowstorm, and then we never got to hang out, and then we don't really talk very much because they're always busy, they're never on their phone, they don't have time for a relationship, so nothing's happening out of that, and I think that hurt me. And then one of my friends told me I should go to college where he goes to college, because I met him in person, but he was an online friend beforehand. But I do think about it. I'm not gonna lie. Like I think about going there. Maybe not to the college, but living with him because he said I could. But I don't know how that would go. I would be scared and worried that it might not work out there. And I don't want to spend so much money in college. That's one of the reasons why I wouldn't want to go to college at all, especially there. And yeah, college can actually help. Well, no, because there's a lot of people that are like, oh, don't do relationships in college, and I'm just like, why not? It's no different than when you're growing up. I'm gonna be honest, especially my stories, like the fuck. But yeah, and I do want something eventually, and that sucks, because I do decide to break up with people that like are like, oh yeah, I'll go see you, never do, but you know, and then there's people that are like, that I'll break up with that are be like, yeah, I love you though, you know, blah blah blah, and I'm just like, I know you don't love me. I don't love you, and I apologize for that. Um, but I know you don't. And then what really confirms that though is like how, you know, for example, there's a person that I will make a video about that I miss, that I still care about deeply. Um, like they're part of me forever, and I will always live with that fact, and I'll be fine with that fact eventually. I just need to find um, my own group of people that I'm okay with. Um, and I just want to start somewhere new where I don't have to deal with like, you know, these people that I know here, and it just sucks. But um, I just want to start somewhere new with new people is what I want to do. Like I want to travel, I want to do all this stuff, but I don't know anybody. You know, I don't know anybody that like does van life stuff. If I did, I'd be like, "Yo, can I?" I mean, I would sleep in the passenger seat or whatever. It doesn't matter to me. I really just want to go somewhere. I do. I think that'd be really fun. But I just don't know anybody, and that's my issue is not knowing that person that does things like that. You know, and then where are they? You know, like there's people that I know that do it, but they don't live near me, and then it's just kind of a big issue. But it sucks. Anyways, I think that was the end of this video. I apologize. We talked about different things, but um, thank you for watching. This will be called cheating because you know most of these relationships I was cheated on, or you know like emotionally cheated on, and yeah. Anyways, that's all I got to talk about. Thank you for watching. Hit that like and sub button. It means a lot. If you want to follow my Twitch, it is in the description of the video. Thank you for watching. Peace.